When a person, he clothes himself in a taqwa, he takes a taqwa as a garment, right? Taqwa is a garment that you put on yourself. And when you clothe yourself with this garment of taqwa, what it does is that it develops a personality and a character. It develops a certain type of personality and a certain type of character. And it is a type of character which is able to go out and to rectify the earth and to populate the earth, to rectify the earth. And as you know, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, what did they do? You know, they accepted Iman, and they increased in their Iman, and they had taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal. And because of that taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal, just as Bedouins, you know, who used to be in Jahiliyyah, whose society was, you know, in Jahiliyyah, they conquered from the east to the west, and they populated the earth. And the major nations that were present, they were eclipsed. The Romans, the Persians, you know, Byzantines, or whatever else. And then they conquered the earth. What was this done with? Was it done with wealth? Or was it done with intelligence? Was it done with, you know, some sort of skill or intelligence? No, it was the taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal. Because as we said, when a person has the taqwa of Allah, he fears Allah Azza wa Jal, and he knows Allah is watching him, and this taqwa is something that imprints certain qualities and traits in him and develops a certain type of character. That's the type of character that is going to do or going to be similar to the actions of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. That is the type of person that is going to guide mankind. That is the type of person that is going to have patience upon the trials and tribulations of life. That is the type of person that is going to be able to withstand and withhold mockery and ridicule. Right? The person who is clothed with taqwa, and then the traits and qualities that, you know, basically develops, you know, which it brings in his character. So we see also that in the Quran that there is a connection made between, a clear connection between at-taqwa and all of the ingredients of a good life. Numerous verses. Let's give some examples. First example is the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, in which He said, it's in Surah Al-Layl, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. As for the one, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى, as for the one who gave, meaning who gave in charity, and he had taqwa, right? He feared Allah, and he believed in al-huzna, وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُزْنَى. He believed in al-huzna, meaning he believed in the kalima la ilaha illallah, according to one interpretation. What's the result of that? فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. We shall make easy for him the path to easiness. So here is a connection between at-taqwa, which is to fear Allah, to do what He commanded, keep away from what He prohibited. And this is the meaning of taqwa, right? It is al-yusra. It means al-halul hasanah al-mardiyah fi dunya wal-akhirah. This is having a good, pleasing state in this life and the hereafter. And this means that Allah Azza wa Jal will make it easy for you. So if you have taqwa of Allah, if you fear Allah and do what He commanded you and keep away from what He prohibited you, He will then make easy for you He will then make easy for you further acts of obedience. So taqwa itself makes other acts of obedience easy for you. And obviously the opposite is true as well. So if you commit sin, then more sin will be made easy for you, and righteous deeds will become harder for you. So the more you spiral downwards. The more you engage in sin, the more sin is opened up for you. And likewise here, when you have taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal, then Allah makes easy for you more acts of obedience, and He puts within your heart a dislike of disobedience and oppositions, and He makes Iman to be beautified in that person's heart. And likewise, He makes Al-Ihsan, which is benevolence and doing good, He makes that beautified also in a person's heart as well. So this obviously is one of the consequences, which is Al-Yusra. Al-Yusra, we just explain what that means. A similar verse also in Surah At-Talaq, which is the 65th chapter. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ يُسْرًا. Whoever fears Allah, has taqwa of Allah, He will make for him ease in his affair. He will make his affair easy. Ibn Kathir, rahimahullah, he said that He will make easy for his affair, make it easy upon him, and give him relief which is near, and give him, like a route of escape from his hardship. And likewise, Muqatil, he said, Man yattaqillaha, whoever fears Allah, fi ijtinabi ma'asih, in keeping away from disobeying Him, from the acts of disobedience, then He will make his affair easy for him in being granted success in obedience to Allah. And obviously, so in these two verses that we mentioned, is mentioned al-yusra, that which is made easy for you. No doubt, ease is a part of the good life. It's part of the good life. And also, the taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal, we see also in the same chapter, Surah At-Talaq, the 65th chapter, Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Whoever fears Allah, whoever has the taqwa of Allah, He will make for him a makhraj. A makhraj meaning a way of escape, a way out. And He will provide for him from directions that he does not anticipate. He will bring rizq to him from ways and directions that he does not anticipate. Imam al-Tabari rahimahullah, he said that يسبب له أسباب الرزق من حيث لا يشعر ولا يعلم. That Allah will He will create avenues, He will create means and ways of rizq from directions that He does not perceive, and nor does He know of them. And likewise others, they said, Allah will bless him, yubarik lahu fima atah. Allah will bless him in whatever He has given to him. Right, so this is now a second benefit of at-taqwa, which leads to a good life. The first one is al-yusra, general ease. Right, general ease in your life, and will make obedience easy for you, righteous deeds easy for you. Second is a makhraj, is a way, an escape, a way out of difficulty, hardship, poverty, and everything else. The third thing which you are given as a result of taqwa, which allows you to live a good life, which gives you a basira, gives you insight. Right? And this is from the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِن تَتَّقُوا اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ فُرْقَانًا. O you who believe, if you fear Allah, Allah will make for you a criterion. Allah will give you a criterion, a furqan. Furqan, what does this mean? This means that a person, he has clear vision, clear understanding about things, in this life, and he's able to distinguish between al-khata and as-sawab, between what is erroneous, what is correct, according to the sharia, according to the legislation, what is right and what is wrong, what is error, what is correct. And also he will have the ability to know what is a reality and what is only just an assumption or a presumption, right? Because there are some people who know realities. They know the realities of things as they actually are. And there are other people who are on cloud cuckoo land. It's assumptions, presumptions, just whim. They don't grasp things. They don't know things as they actually are, what they are upon. Right? So also, you know the haqa'iq as opposed to the awham, right? So you know the realities as they are, as opposed to presumptions, assumptions. Likewise, the difference between al-haq wal-batil. You will know the difference between the truth and the falsehood, right? So this is a criterion in terms of knowledge and understanding by which you can decipher things and by which you can distinguish between what is correct, what is an error, what is an actual reality, what is just an assumption, what is truth, what is falsehood, whether in relation to the worldly affairs or the religious affairs, right? Imagine having that ability and that quality. Imagine having this quality, right? The problems in your life would be reduced and your firmness in the religion would be increased, right? And then when you combine the two together, you have sound knowledge of the world and its realities, what is beneficial for you, what is harmful for you, right? And you combine that with knowledge of the religion. These two things are extremely, extremely powerful for you, right? And obviously this is an ingredient, a component of having a good life, So as Allah Azza wa Jal said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in tattaqullah yaj'al lakum furqana. Oh, you believe, if you fear Allah, He will make for you a furqan. And the scholars have explained what does al-furqan, what does it mean? There are 3 or 4 statements. There are 4 statements mentioned by Ibn al-Jawzi, and first of them is it is al-makhraj, which means that again it's like a way of escape for you, a means of escape from difficulty and hardship and things of that nature. This was said by Abi Talha ibn Abbas, from Ibn Abbas and Ikrimah and Mujahid and others. And obviously the meaning here is Allah will make for you a makhraj in the religion from misguidance. This is what the meaning is here, right? The furqan mentioned in this verse means that He will make you a means of escape from being misguided in religion, because you have the criterion in terms of knowledge and sound creed and sound methodology, right? Second meaning is that this means He will make for you a means of deliverance, safety, that you are rescued, that you are saved, and najat. This is also related from Ibn Abbas and Qatada and others. The third meaning here is Allah will make for you aid and support. He will give you nasr. He will give you aid and support. This is also related from Ibn Abbas. All these meanings are simultaneously correct, right? There's no contradiction. They're all simultaneously correct. And also, the fourth meaning is that this means huda, guidance in the heart, by which you can distinguish between truth and falsehood. Guidance in the heart by which you distinguish between truth and falsehood. So all of these are meanings of furqan, the furqan that Allah gives to you, right? So now there are 3 things: an easy life, al-yusra, a makhraj, a way out of difficulty, hardship, poverty, and He will bring you rizq from ways and directions you didn't know, you don't expect. And also a furqan, a criterion, which means in terms of knowledge and guidance by which you can see truth from falsehood, benefit from harm, what is haqq and what is batil, and so on and so forth. This meaning is also found in another verse in the Quran, as mentioned by Imam al-Qurtubi rahimahullah, regarding the verse, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهِ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهِ. This is in Surah Al-Baqarah, the second chapter, verse 282. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهِ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهِ. Fear Allah, have the taqwa of Allah, and Allah will teach you, Allah will instruct you. Wallahu bi kulli shay'in alim, and Allah is knowledgeable of everything. So here Al-Qurtubi said rahimahullah that Allah has promised, this is a promise from Allah, that if you have taqwa of Allah, He will teach him, which means, as Al-Qurtubi says, يَجْعَلْ فِي قَلْبِهِ نُورًا يَفْهَمُ بِهِ مِنَّا يُلْقَى إِلَيْهِ. Right? That He will put in his heart light. There will be light put into his heart by which he can understand whatever is brought to him, whatever is presented to him. Right? So issues come to you, knowledge is brought to you, things happen to you. Whatever comes in your direction, that light in your heart allows you to understand it as it actually is. Right? And he says that Allah can put in his heart, a furqan, which means a faysalan. Yufassil bihi bain al-haqqi wal-batil. You know, He puts in his heart basically a criterion, something by which he can distinguish and separate between truth and falsehood. So from all of this we can see that taqwa isn't something that we do only for the hereafter. Right? So when we have fear of Allah, obviously we know that there is paradise in the hereafter. Right? There is paradise in the hereafter. But that does not mean that taqwa does not have returns for the believer in the life of this world. And these numerous passages that we've looked at, they make it clear that a believer can have a good life as a consequence of having taqwa, because that taqwa itself leads to these things: al-yusra, al-makhraj, having a furqan, and this makes your life very, very, very easy. So from all of this we can see that the greatest happiness that a person can have is, first of all, having righteous deeds made easy for you. Having righteous deeds made easy for you. This is from the fruits of taqwa. Isn't this the good life? How is it some people, it's very easy for them to hastily be drawn towards good deeds. Very quickly they're able to give charity. Very quickly they're able to do the nawafil, fast, pray the nawafil. There's no hesitation, there's no laziness. It's very easy for them. And, very easy to make istighfar, very easy to make dhikr, and so on and so forth. How come there are people which are like that? And how come there are other people very sluggish, very lazy, next week or the week after or tomorrow or this evening or whatever, and they never seem to get anything done? Right? This is because the taqwa that is in the heart. The taqwa that is in the heart. So this is the first thing, which is part and parcel of having a good life, that good deeds are made easy for you. The second is that whatever needs you have, whatever your needs are, worldly needs, such as provision and clothing and shelter and safety and security and things like that, that is made easy for you. This now becomes made easy for you as well. Right? This is the second element. The third element is that your sustenance, your rizq, comes to you from directions that you wouldn't imagine. So if you have the taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal, wealth, food, whatever it might be that you need to sustain yourself and your family and your children, it will come to you from directions that you wouldn't expect or imagine. And finally, basira, you have insight and knowledge and a criterion by which you can see between truth and falsehood. Imagine having all of these, four things. All of these four things are things that we've just discussed from those verses in the Quran, and they are part and parcel of having a good life.